Thank you. Go back to communication.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, those on their feet, take your seats. Kiamba, take your seat, Mami. Sabina Chege, take your seat. Honorable members, I have a communication to make on the leadership and continuity of the business of the House in the 4th session of the 13th Parliament. Honorable members, during the afternoon sitting of Tuesday, 11th February 2025, the member for Suba North, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo Mabona MP, rose on a point of order in relation to the designation of the majority and minority parties in the House and their respective leadership. In the point of order, the Honorable Millie noted that she had been aware of a judgment of the High Court in Nairobi, High Court case number E202 of 2023, Kenneth Njagi Njiru versus State Law Office and Jubilee Party of Kenya, where the court had declared the ruling contained in the communication made on 6 October 2022 on the majority and minority parties in the National Assembly as unconstitutional, null and void. In her view, the judgment declared the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party as the majority party. The Honorable Millie further noted that she had submitted a letter to the Speaker seeking the recognition of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party as the majority party and conveying the names of the Honorable Junet Mohammed as the majority leader and the Honorable Robert Mbui as the deputy majority leader. She concluded by seeking that the Speaker recuse himself from presiding over the proceedings and to allow the Honorable Deputy Speaker to recognize Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party as the majority party, Honorable Junet Mohammed as the majority leader and the Honorable Robert Mbui as the deputy majority leader. Notably, the Honorable Millie seems to have conveniently forgotten the fact that the Honorable Deputy Speaker is also a member of a political party and represents a constituency. As such, the Honorable Millie's concerns of impartiality would still have arisen if the Deputy Speaker was in the chair. Indeed, this applies to all members of the Speaker's panel. At the beginning of the debate, I gave honorable members some general direction in the issues from the judgment as I understood them, including the fact that the judgment did not bar the Speaker from presiding over the House. Indeed, the issue of how a vacancy arises in the office of the Speaker is expressly provided for in Article 106(2) of the Constitution. Arising from the point raised by the Honorable Millie, no less than 58 other members contributed to the debate that arose, with a number raising additional points of order. This included the Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Gladys Boss, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, the Honorable Junet Mohammed, the Honorable Adan Keinan, the Honorable Silvanos Osoro, the Honorable Sabina Chege, the Honorable Christopher Seka, the Honorable David Ocheng, the Honorable George Murugara, the Honorable Joseph McClap, the Honorable Omboko Milemba. Other members who contributed on the point of order were the Honorable Major Retired Bashir Abdullahi, Honorable Betty Maina, Honorable John Kiari, Honorable Timothy Kipchumba, Honorable Raphael Wanjala, Honorable John Chikati, Honorable Zahir Janda, Honorable Robert Mbui, Honorable George Murugara, I think that's repeated, Honorable Doris Donya, Honorable Wanami Wamboka, Honorable Otienda Molo, Honorable Karoli Omondi, Honorable Mwengi Mutuse, Honorable Duncan Madenge, Honorable Didmas Baraza, Honorable Jane Kagiri, Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe, Honorable Peter Kaluma, Honorable Dr. Lillian Kogo, Honorable Gideon Kimaio. Additionally, Honorable Nabina Bwera, Honorable Marian Kitani, Honorable Sakimba Parashina, Honorable Joyce Bensuda, Honorable Captain Retired Roeda Obo, Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu, Honorable Chiforo Mondo Mangale, Honorable Githinji Kishimu, Honorable Majimbo Kalasinga, Honorable Dr. Robert Pukose, Honorable Musili Mawadhe, Honorable Kasim Tandaza, Honorable Baro Mohammed, Honorable Alice Nganga, Honorable TJ Kajwang, Honorable Dr. James Sinyikal, Honorable Ruth Odinga, Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, Honorable Dr. Wilfred Oundo, Honorable Kakai Bisau, Honorable Titus Lote, Honorable Ferdinand Wanyonyi, Honorable Kuria Kimani, Honorable John Waluke, Honorable Rahim Daoud, Honorable Gonsirai, and the Honorable Moses Kirima contributed to the debate. In broad summary, the ensuing debate crystallized the following issues. A, whether the court in its findings designated any party as the majority party or any party as the minority party in this House, and even the affirmative, whether this was an invitation to the whips to invoke the provisions of Standing Order 19A and 20 on the submission of freshly elected party leaders. B, what were the implications of the judgment to the continuity of the business of the House, noting that the court expressly declined to grant the prayers sought by the petitioners to declare Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party as the majority party and Kenya Kwanza as the minority party. Whether the judgment rendered the constitution of the House Business Committee, which is the core business at the first sitting of the House in a new session, impossible. Whether the judgment rendered the transaction of the business of the House impractical, and if in the affirmative, whether any intervention ought to be made so as to facilitate the National Assembly to continue discharging its constitutional responsibilities. What were the specific findings of the court in the judgment in question, and what is the effect on the proceedings and resolutions of the House in the pre-judgment 13th Parliament? Whether the judgment affects other facets of the House that are determined by the relative majorities and coalition agreements, such as the deputy party leaders, whips, chairs, chairing and membership of all House committees, membership of the Parliamentary Service Commission, nominations to the IEBC selection panel, and the Commission on Revenue Allocation. Whether the Speaker is a member of the House and how this relates to his political rights and party affiliation, and how the role of the Speaker in the House relates to the principle of impartiality. Whether certain aspects of the judgment violated the doctrine of separation of powers by constituting judicial encroachment into, 1, the internal affairs of the legislature contrary to the spirit of Article 124 of the Constitution that empowers each House to regulate its own procedure, and any attempt by the courts to prescribe a procedure for the Houses may stifle the ability of the House to discharge its constitutional mandate. The powers, privileges, and immunities accorded to the House and its membership by Article 117 of the Constitution, if matters done by Parliament officially in the furtherance of its constitutional mandate, will attract personal liability. Members at the bar, take the nearest seats. Koyo, take the nearest seat. You don't have to run across the floor. Thank you. While contributing to the debate, the Honorable Mwengi Mtusi tabled a letter dated 30th January 2024 from the Register of Political Parties indicating that the Maendeleo Chap-Chap had exited the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party with effect from 25th January 2024. On her part, the Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Gladys Boss, submitted that upon receipt of the judgment, while discharging the role of the Speaker in the absence of the Speaker who was out of jurisdiction, she instructed the Clerk of the National Assembly to seek information from the Register of Political Parties with respect to the status of the membership of the 21 parties represented in the House in any coalition and to request for certified copies of the relevant coalition agreements. At the conclusion of the debate, the Deputy Speaker tabled a response from the Register of Political Parties referred as request for information on coalition agreements, dated 11th February 2025. Annexed to the response were certified copies of coalition agreements relating to A, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition and the Democratic Party, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition and the Grand Dream Development Party, the Kenya Kwanza Coalition and the National Agenda Party of Kenya, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition and Chama cha Mashinani CCM, the Taifa Democratic Coalition. Consequently, members, I undertook to consider the concerns raised by the members and documents tabled by the Honorable Mutusa and the Deputy Speaker and to guide the House at this sitting. At the very outset, I wish to note that the judgment seems to have created an element of unprecedented confusion in the affairs of the House. This has affected the manner in which I have now been called upon to guide the House in light of the patent contradictions I have noted in the letter submitted by the Honorable Millie Odhiambo. In communicating confirmation of members of the Azimio coalition as the majority, the Honorable Millie signs off as the majority party whip, National Assembly, against a letterhead that also designates her as the minority chief whip. The letter also fails to attach any records of any meeting which the alleged decision of the coalition was made as required by the very standing orders 19A and 20 that she quoted and invoked. Viewed in isolation, the letter is in law defective. Nevertheless, I'll allow the honorable member some latitude in the light of the prevailing confusion. Honorable members, I've read the judgment, and it has been explained to me at length by our very able legal team. I find it quite unfortunate that misleading assertions have been made with respect to the findings of the court. Honorable Anjala, keep your cool. The majority of the reporting has failed to note that the matter before the court related to a mixed bag of prayers sought by petitioners touching on the pending disputes in the Jubilee Party, the Finance Bill 2023, requests for a section of Kenyans not to pay taxes, and deeming of certain members to have resigned from their political parties, among others. A reading of the judgment reveals glaring factual and legal contradictions. I instructed that an appeal be lodged against the judgment forthwith. My guidance to the House should not be construed as a review of the findings and orders of the court, and that remains within the province of the judiciary. With respect to the issues raised by the members, I can only pronounce myself on matters that are necessary to facilitate the continuity of the business of the House. Consequently, the guidance I'm about to give shall strictly confine itself within those parameters. Honorable members, I wish to note that out of 34 prayers expressly sought by the petitioners, the High Court in its findings only granted 3 prayers and expressly declined the other 31 prayers. Paragraph 508 of the judgment reads, and I quote, "In the ultimate, we allow the petition to the following extent. It is hereby declared," that's Roman 1, "that the question as to which party or coalition of parties is the majority in the National Assembly in the 13th Parliament was determined by the sovereign will of the Kenyan voters during the 9th August 2022 general elections. 2, it is hereby declared that the Honorable Speaker's ruling on determination contained in his communication from the Chair made on 6 October 2022 on the majority and minority in the National Assembly violated Article 108 of the Constitution and therefore is null and void. 3, it is hereby declared, I'm quoting from the judgment, it is hereby declared that the Honorable Speaker's ruling or determination from the Chair on 6 October 2022 with respect to leadership of the National Assembly on account of his determination of the majority party and minority party in the National Assembly is contrary to and violated Article 108 of the Constitution, and to that extent is null and void. 3, an order of certiorari is hereby issued quashing the Honorable Speaker's ruling or determination contained in his communication from the Chair made on 6 October 2022 on the majority and minority in the National Assembly. Subject to the foregoing orders, the court went on. The rest of the prayers in the petition are declined. Parties will bear their own costs. Honorable members, finding number Roman 4 in which the court declined to grant the rest of the prayers sought by the petitioners is quite instructive. To put it in its proper perspective, I note that at paragraph 33, appearing on page 6 of the judgment, the petitioner had expressly sought that the court grants the following prayers, among others. D, that a declaration be issued to declare that the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition is the majority party in the National Assembly of Kenya based on the outcome of the election of members of the National Assembly held on 9th August 2022. That a declaration be issued to declare that the Kenya Kwanza Alliance is the minority party in the National Assembly of Kenya based on the outcome of the elections of members of the National Assembly held on August 2022. I reiterate that it is in its final orders, and in particular at paragraph 508 Roman 4 of the judgment, the court expressly declined to grant these orders. Therefore, in quashing the communication issued on 6 October 2022, the leadership of the National Assembly in the 13th Parliament, the court did not declare any party or coalition of parties as the majority or minority party, and neither did it declare any member of this House as the leader of the majority party, nor the leader of the minority party. This addresses the first and second issues. Honorable members, yesterday when all of you submitted, I kept quiet and listened. I implore you also to keep quiet and listen. It's a quid pro quo. Even the Honorable Millie, who raised the issue, is conducting herself like the distinguished lawyer she is, listening quietly. And for us, when we go to court as lawyers, even when the court rules against you, you stand up, bow, and say, I'm much obliged, my lord. Moving on, honorable members, in its first finding, the High Court cryptically held that the question as to which party or coalition parties in the majority in the National Assembly in the 13th Parliament was determined in August 2022. Whereas the finding of the court is a statement of fact and of law as prevailing on the 9th August 2022, the nagging question as raised by a number of members is whether the law contemplates this determination of the majority and minority parties to be static throughout the subsequent days of a term of Parliament. The Constitution itself enumerates several avenues in which the number of parliamentary seats secured by a party or a coalition at a general election can be subsequently varied. First, Article 103 of the Constitution spells out 7 instances in which a vacancy can arise in the office of a member of parliament, including death and resignation, and this can drastically affect the numbers or members of a particular party. Secondly, Article 104 of the Constitution provides for the manner in which a member of parliament can be recalled by the electorate with the result and effect on the parliamentary seats secured by any political party. Thirdly, Article 105 of the Constitution provides for the manner in which the High Court can nullify the election of a member of parliament with the result and effect on the parliamentary seats by any political party. Fourth, Article 108 of the Constitution, as further expounded in the Political Parties Act, acknowledges the formation and existence of coalitions which, when varied through post-election agreements, have a result and effect on the parliamentary seats associated with a political party or coalition. For instance, apart from the dynamic complexities that we have witnessed around the composition of coalitions since the last general election, honorable members are also aware of the current existence of 3 vacancies in the office of members of parliament with respect to Banisa constituency, Magarin constituency, and Ugunja constituency. A further vacancy exists with respect to the nomination slot vacated by the Honorable John Badi. How is the House meant to treat a change in its relative majorities arising from the current existing 4 vacancies? Honorable members, to my mind, all the cited scenarios create avenues for the exercise of the sovereign will of the people to determine the majority and minority in the House. By quashing the guidance that I gave for purposes of ensuring the continuity of the business of the House, the court recreated the very same question that arose at the commencement of the 13th Parliament as to which party or coalition is the majority or minority in the House. Honorable members, the 3rd schedule to the Constitution prescribed the oath that I took pursuant to Article 74 of the Constitution before assuming office as your Speaker. Having been elected by yourselves on 8 September 2022, I swore to bear true faith and allegiance to the people and the Republic of Kenya. I undertook to faithfully and conscientiously discharge my duties as Speaker and to obey, respect, preserve, and protect and defend the Constitution. Critically, I also committed to do right to all manner of persons in accordance with the Constitution and the laws and conventions of Parliament without fear or favor, affection, or ill will. I did ask the Almighty God to help me in this crucial role and appended my signature to the physical version of the oath. With that in mind, whenever I am invited to render guidance to the House, it remains my solemn and singular duty to provide that guidance and way forward. My predecessors have previously upheld the significance of safeguarding the independence, powers, and privileges of this House and the doctrine of exclusive cognizance. Article 124 of the Constitution empowers the House to regulate its own procedure, and the other arms of government have a duty to refrain from interfering with this privilege. A question such as the one referring to the majority and minority party falls within this privilege and must, as of necessity, be guarded jealously and only resolved within Parliament. The Constitution and the laws and conventions of Parliament do not grant me the option of declining jurisdiction or issuing any guidance that effectively holds the operations of the House. My oath obligates me to ensure the uninterrupted functions of this House for the benefit of the people of Kenya. In its finding number 3, the court held that the communication was null and void. Debate arose as to whether this finding affected the propriety of all the business that the House has transacted since it was inaugurated on 8 September 2022. There were perceptions and assertions that the legislation so far passed by the House may have been voided. It should be beyond doubt that there was no order of the court in this regard to precipitate this kind of thinking, and there cannot have been such a blanket order as the issues placed before the court by the litigants did not question legality and competence of Parliament to legislate on matters before it, save for the prayers relating to the Finance Act 2023 and Appropriations Act 2023, and these prayers were expressly dismissed by the court. Members at the bar, take the nearest seats. The nearest seats, Shinali. Osero, take the nearest seat. Thank you. It should be beyond doubt that there was no order of the court in this regard. Sorry, I've read that. As ably noted by the Honorable Member for Kikuyu, the decisions which arise from the business transacted by the House has no relation to which party is designated as the majority or minority. They are decisions of the House as a whole. From where I sit, no debate can arise as to the legality of the actions taken by the House prior to the invalidation of the communication. I need not belabor this point. To the critical matter at hand, Article 108 of the Constitution establishes the offices of party leaders in Parliament and outlines the order of precedence to be observed in the National Assembly as follows. There shall be a leader of the majority party and a leader of the minority party. The leader of the majority party shall be the person who is the leader in the National Assembly of the largest party or coalition of parties. The leader of the minority party shall be the person who is the leader in the National Assembly of the second largest party or coalition of parties. The following order of precedence shall be observed in the National Assembly: the Speaker of the National Assembly, the leader of the majority party, and the leader of the minority party. In determining which party or coalition of parties is the majority party and minority party, primary reference has to be made to the results of the last general election. As noted in previous guidance on the designation of the leadership of the House, the exercise must be informed by reference to formal records of membership of the political parties represented in the House and their affiliations, if any, with each other through pre- and post-election coalition agreements. It will be noted that the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, via Gazette Notice number 99509951 of 2022, both dated 23rd August 2022, Gazette Notice number 10535 of 2022, dated 5th September 2022, Gazette Notice number 10537 of 2022, dated 7th September 2022, and Gazette Notice number 10710 of 2022, dated 9th September 2022, declared all the persons duly elected and nominated as members of this House and their respective parties at the general election. With respect to the affiliation between the parties currently represented in the National Assembly, Standing Order 2B requires the Clerk of the National Assembly to obtain a certified copy of any coalition agreement entered into between two or more political parties. As guided in previous rulings by the speakers of this House, Standing Order 2B was intended to allow the House to determine its relative majorities and resolve, among others, any disputes between constitutive parties of coalitions, to the membership of the Parliamentary Service Commission, nominations to the Commission on Revenue Allocation, and positions in the East African Legislative Assembly. Honorable members, indeed, as noted by members in their contributions to the debate herein, the continuity of the business of the House and consideration of the orders of the court under finding Roman 1 of the judgment would be significantly embedded without access to the most current information on any coalitions formed or dissolved by the parties represented in the House today, and any variation in the membership of those coalitions and parties. This information must be juxtaposed against the current membership of the House. Indeed, several members, including Honorable Millie Odhiambo, Honorable Junet Mohammed, Honorable Peter Kaluma, Honorable Mboko Milemba, Honorable David Ocheng, Honorable Sabina Chege, Honorable Mwengi Mutuse, Honorable Major Retired Bashir, and others referred to what they call changed circumstances in the composition of the respective coalitions and parties within the House. Allow me to take you, honorable members, down memory lane, just but for illustration. During the 7th Parliament, where yours truly was a member, there arose a leadership dispute between Ford Asili and Ford Kenya as to which party was the official opposition. Each party had 31 seats, leading to a dramatic and humorous incident where the late Honorable Martin Shikuku, you may recall that the leader of Ford Asili was the Honorable late Kenneth Matiba, who was not having good health at the time. So Martin Shikuku, as the Secretary General of the party, was the de facto leader of the party in the House. They were leading dramatic and humorous incidents where the late Honorable Martin Shikuku and the late Honorable Mzee Jaramogi Oginga Odinga alternatively claimed the seat reserved for the leader of opposition in the House on a first-come, first-occupied basis. The dispute was finally resolved following the defection of Honorable Njuguna Njoroge from Ford Asili, the then member for Makuyu, who defected to KANU. Thereafter, Ford Kenya became the de facto official opposition party, with the Honorable Jaramogi Oginga Odinga as the leader of the official opposition, subsequently followed by the Honorable Wamalwa Kijana after the demise of Mzee Odinga. The dispute, it would therefore be beyond absurdity for your Speaker to blindly designate the leadership of the House without reference to formal communication of the membership of various coalitions and the relative majorities of the House as at today. The designation must take into account any changes in the various coalitions, vacancies in the membership of the House, and other relevant realities. As it was stated by the Deputy Speaker, in order to establish the existence and status of coalition agreements affecting the affairs of the National Assembly, she instructed the clerk to write to the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties on the evening of 7th February 2025, seeking information. A, membership of the 21 political parties represented in the National Assembly in any coalition, including coalition political parties, and the dates relevant to the membership. Any variations in the membership of the coalitions and coalition political parties, and the dates of the variations. C, certified copies of pre-election and post-election coalition agreements relating to the parties and the status of the agreements. The registrar responded by a letter dated 11th February 2025 that was tabled by the Deputy Speaker yesterday, and the contents of the letter indicate as follows: that a pre-election coalition known as the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, in brackets Azimio, was registered on 21st April 2022 and comprised 21 parties, namely Jubilee Party, Orange Democratic Movement, Wiper Democratic Movement, Kenya African National Union, National Rainbow Coalition, Muungano Party, Democratic Action Party, Democratic Action Party Kenya, United Party of Independent Alliance, United Progressive Alliance, Kenya Union Party, United Democratic Party, Movement for Democracy and Growth, Kenya Reform Party, Chama cha Uzalendo, Party of Peace and Democracy, National Liberal Party, People's Trust Party, Ubuntu People's Forum, Party of National Unity, Labour Party of Kenya, and the Party of Growth and Prosperity. That a pre-election coalition known as the Kenya Kwanza Alliance was registered on 3rd June 2022 and comprised 11 political parties, namely United Democratic Alliance, Amani National Congress, Forum for Restoration of Democracy Kenya, Chama cha Kazi, Communist Party, the Service Party, Tuchibebe wa Kenya Party, Farmers Party, Devolution Party of Kenya, Economic Freedom Party, and the Umoja na Maendeleo Party. That a post-election coalition agreement was entered into on 5th September 2022 between the Kenya Kwanza Alliance and 4 additional parties, namely the Democratic Party of Kenya, National Agenda Party of Kenya, Grand Dream Development Party, and Chama cha Mashinani. The letter from the Registrar of Political Parties did also convey that 5 parties had exited the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, namely the People's Liberation Party, formerly the National Rainbow Coalition Kenya, on 6th December 2024, Maendeleo Chapchap Party on 25th January 2024, Devolution Empowerment Party on 11th April 2023, United Democratic Movement on 22nd November 2023, and Pamoja African Alliance on 27th February 2023. Suffice to mention, members, that the People's Liberation Party, formerly National Labour Coalition, does not have representation in this House. That the Amani National Congress was in the process of dissolving the party to collaborate with the United Democratic Alliance. That the Movement for Democratic and Growth, MDG, had initiated a process of exiting the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition, but was yet to finalize its exit from the coalition political party. That as at 11th February 2025, the Pamoja African Alliance, PA, Maendeleo Chapchap, MCCP, United Democratic Movement, UDM, and the National Ordinary People Empowerment Union, NOPEU, are not members of any registered coalition or coalition political party. Honorable members, I put emphasis on the information provided by the Registrar of Political Parties that the said 4 political parties are not members of any registered coalition or coalition of political party. It is notable that even if it was to be assumed that the 4 vacancies were to be filled in favor of the parties under which the former members were elected or nominated and their number added to the computation of the 2 coalitions, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party would still not attain a majority of the members in the House. Honorable members, my reference to the Gazette notices relating to the election of members at the last general election and the current vacancies with respect to Banisa, Magarini, Ugunja, and the resignation of the Honorable John Badi, the current composition of the National Assembly by individual political parties in alphabetical order is as follows. Amani National Congress, 8. Chama cha Mashinani, 1. Democratic Alliance Party of Kenya, 5. Democratic Party DP, 1. Fort Kenya, 6. Grand Dream Development Party, 1. Jubilee Party, 28. Kenya African National Union, 6. Kenya Union Party, 3. Maendeleo Chapchap, 2. Movement for Democracy and Growth, MDG, 1. National Alliance Party of Kenya, 1. National Ordinary People Empowerment Union, NOPEU, 1. Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, 83. Pamoja African Alliance, PA, 3. Service Party, TSP, 2. The United Democratic Alliance, UDA, 145. United Democratic Movement, UDM, 7. United Party of Independent Alliance, UPIA, 2. United Progressive Alliance, UPA, 1. Wiper Democratic Movement, 26. A simple calculation of the cited numbers with reference to the communication and coalition agreements received from the register of political parties indicates the cumulative number of the members of the constituent parties of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party and the Kenya Kwanza Alliance as follows. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party consists of 154 members, computed by adding the membership of the Orange Democratic Movement, Jubilee Party, Wiper Democratic Movement, Kenya African National Union, the Democratic Alliance Party of Kenya, the Kenya Union Party, the United Party of Independent Alliance, and the Movement for Democratic Growth. The Kenya Kwanza Alliance consists of 165 members, computed by adding the membership of the United Democratic Alliance, the Amani National Congress, Ford Kenya, the Service Party, the National Agenda Party of Kenya, the Grand Dream Development Party, the Democratic Party, and the Chama cha Mashinani. Honorable members, it's notable that the numbers relating to the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party are tinged by a slight element of doubt with respect to membership of the Movement for Democratic and Growth MDG. You will recall the expressed sentiments made by the sole member and party leader of the MDG yesterday in the House, dissociating both himself and the party from the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. However, I decline to engage in this controversy. Arising from the foregoing, the Kenya Kwanza Coalition is the majority party, and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party is the minority party in the House. I have not received order. I still have a little more to go. I have not received any further communication from the Kenya Kwanza Coalition replacing the member for Kikuyu, the member for Kilifi, the member for South Mugirango, and the member for Marsabit County as their preferred leadership in the House. Similarly, I have not received any communication from the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party replacing the member for Suna East, the member for Kadiani, the member for Suba North, and the member for Embakasi West as their preferred leadership in the House. Consequently, the leadership of the House remains unchanged. Permit me at this stage, honorable members, to address the fate of 14 members who, as per the letter from the Registrar of Political Parties, belong to parties other than parliamentary parties that are not affiliated with the two identified coalitions in the House. I wish to reiterate that the 14 members and all independent members shall be treated equally in nomination to the committees of the House and access to any other attendant entitlements. The Speaker shall, under Standing Order 174-2B, decline to approve any list of members nominated to serve in committees that does not take into account interests of all members, including the 14. Honorable members, under Standing Order 172, the Committee on Selection is responsible for nominating members to serve in all committees, including the remaining 17 sessional committees that I listed yesterday in the communication on resumption of sittings for the fourth session and the lapse and reintroduction of business. I urge the committee to prioritize the constitution of the Budget and Appropriations Committee in light of the communication that I gave you earlier on the budget policy statement. In summary, therefore, honorable members, I guide as follows. The Kenya Kwanza Coalition is the majority party in the House. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party is the minority party in the House. To the extent that I have not received any communication of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party or the Kenya Kwanza Coalition replacing their leadership in the House, the leadership existing as at the end of the last session remains the leadership of this House. I thank you. Yes, Millie, this was your point of order. Honorable member.